Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? Like I told you, man, we're gonna keep bringing out this content. Or this information that we got. Today, we're gonna talk about defense, man. Defense, and the stuff that I've been hearing, I've been seeing, as far as in the community on Twitter, on YouTube from the community, specifically Uncle Demi. It has been, it's crazy, man, and to me, in my honest opinion, I feel like both sides are gonna be pretty OP. So first, let's go ahead and get a little quick reaction to this video with Mike Wang talking about defense.
And defense more
Let's see.
skill-based. Adrenaline boosts are back, but have been redesigned to make both offense and defense more skill-based.
Of course.
On offense, boosts are no longer lost when pulling off dribble combos or moving short distances. This gives dribblers much more freedom to create off the bounce. But boosts will disappear every time the on-ball defender can bump the ball handler on a drive attempt.
W.
Losing adrenaline won't feel like moving in mud like last year, but it will heavily impact shooting attributes. So if a good defender can bump
I wonder,
2 or 3...
I wonder, based off the shooter, how much it affects. I'm pretty sure it's got to be something in there for badge wise offensively that's going to have it in there, so don't get too shied away from that, because if you a cheeser in terms of your dribble move and you get open on all that, you'll be all right.
3 times in a single possession, they'll have a really tough time scoring if they do manage to get free. Creating your own shot off the dribble isn't the only way to get good shots.
Right.
Knowing how to operate away from the ball is just as important. NBA 2K24 features new right analog stick jukes and other quick explosive moves to free yourself up for a shot. Tapping the sprint trigger will also give you a huge burst.
See, now you're kind of not talking about defense anymore. He kind of went into it a splash, but we're going to dive more into it from some things that I've seen. So last night, specifically, I want to touch on that first. Mike Wang put out a post about defensive contests, right? So with the defensive contests, or whiffing on steals or reaching for steals, it was about the percentages. The percentages as far as how well they will affect someone who's spamming or whatever. So see if I can find a post. I'll just type it in real quick and look it up. We'll do it like this. Just get straight to it. But put out a post that was just basically saying how they think the initial percentages that they put out were a little bit too harsh. And here it is right here. So the first tweet he put out was steal and block attempts will consume adrenaline bars on defense. First bar gone equals 20% from the block and steal rating, and then 40% for the second bar, 75% for the third. Now, when he came back and replied or retweeted his tweet, he pretty much said that people within his corner, as far as the process or the gameplay of the game, were saying that that might be a little bit too substantial, just because of for whatever reason, just a little bit too substantial, which is agreeable. But I can say I think 5 and 10% for the first 2 bars may be a little bit too low. Maybe you can do 10, then 20, and then maybe a 40 or 30 instead of 75, because I get that you're trying to punish spammers, because spammers are in the game. But what he doesn't take an account of is the fact of, so what if I reach for that steal, get a tip, but we don't retain possession? What now? So I actually retweeted, and a few people, I say retweeted, replied to him, and also a few people replied to him asking him the question of pretty much, if we are successful on the attempt, do we still get this, this bump in the percentage, or is it a lesser percentage? Is it the same percentage? And in my opinion, I understand that, there may still be a percentage loss or percentage not lost because we haven't retained possession, but it's still kind of faulty. And I take it in account of thinking more into real life. So in real life, if you're playing, hard defense and you're playing in the lane and you reach and get that pluck, you still get tired, essentially, if you're just thinking in terms of the boost. Just think in terms of the boost right now. So you still necessarily will be tired, right, for playing defense whenever the ball comes in. Yeah, you may get a quick little rest, but you're still going to be tired. You're not going to be playing defense as well, depending on, how substantial the tip was, which I know 2K can't gauge how substantial the tip was, or how much you had to reach or get out there. But my point is, you're still going to be a little tired, and you're still going to have a little shot to your defense, depending on, all those things I just said. So, it's something for 2K to think about. Mike Wayne to put it in play. Who knows? Maybe they can, maybe they can't. Whatever. And then earlier, I went into looking at some of Uncle Demi's videos. I want to go right here to his first, part of the video. And I'm just going to kind of give y'all a synopsis. It's all about defense and all that stuff. If you want to go look at it, go check it out yourself. But I just kind of going to give y'all a little briefing of it. So in this first, quote here, or not his quote, but in the first shot here, it has, along with changes to adrenaline and counter moves are big in NBA 2K24. Perimeter and paint defense are both more effective and reward players for anticipating and making good reads. Defensive movement has improved on many fronts with better responsibility and less sliding. This helps defenders get to where they need to be, and with much more improved body of system, ball handlers will have a tough time getting free against great defenders. Kind of what he was just saying in the video. Earlier, well, just a few minutes ago, that we were just watching. Big defensive anchors will have a much easier time putting a body on shooters at the rim and forcing tough shots. Directional steals are also back. I want to say they incorporated directional steals in, it might have been 18-19 or 17-18 and 19, and it kind of faded away, because now you can use the right stick to go for steals, but it's not necessarily your player reaching with that direction or that hand in that direction. It's just him reaching. So this is a W, and definitely makes it more elite for locks. Now, the only thing I can say is it only working with left right steals, like if you're flicking the right analog stick, left right, because you got to think most of the time when you hold your hands up to contest, that's a part into it too. So what I'm saying is, if I hold my hands up to contest, is he gonna reach like by accident or something like that, or is it just only on left right stick movement? Because that can be important for defenders, and also that could be a thing with contest, because now it doesn't allow me to properly contest without fouling, if you get what I'm saying. Because now you can contest, obviously, hands straight up, but like I was just explaining, it's still like if you flick the stick up, he can reach still too. So I'm wondering if we'll see, but if you get what I'm saying, I'm wondering if the stick correlation as far as the reaches and the hand up, if that's going to be crystal and smooth. So also going into this video, kind of off of this right here with Uncle Demi, he goes on to talk about how there have been some new defensive badges inputted into the game. Now, he didn't go into depth as what the badges do or badge names. He just said there have been some new defensive badges incorporated into the game. Whether or not he's supposed to say that, I don't know, but he said it. So, with that being heard, that kind of goes, it was a video I posted maybe a month ago, just saying how the defensive badges and offensive badges, for the game to be completely competitive and fair for both sides, you have to have badges for offense and defense that are one-to-one, that can pretty much almost cancel each other out, right? Now, what we have with 2K24, from what I hear and what it sounds like, that's what they're trying to incorporate. Now, that's not saying that there will be, for every offensive badge, there's going to be a defensive badge for it, which, probably should be, but more than likely with 2K, it won't be. But that's just what they're kind of hinting at, is the fact that you as a defender will have the opportunity to play defense just as good as the offensive player can play offense. And I feel like pretty much the past 3 years, you really couldn't do that. It was really, mainly dictated by the offensive player based off his skill level. And yeah, you could, be a decent defender, but still, it was still so offensive heavy that he could get an animation to get by. You get what I'm saying? So it's almost too friendly to the point where, yeah, I'm making offensive heavy builds, or I'm making a build that's gonna have some kind of offense, because even if you are locked, you can't really, really box it up. Yeah, you can probably get a pluck, but you're not really boxing it up, if you get what I'm saying. It's more so like a spammy type defense, and that's what we've had the past 3 years, is more of a spammy defense. It's not me being in good position to move my feet. I don't know if y'all remember back on And I always go back to these back in 17, 18, 19, where you actually had like true locks. Where most of the time they weren't spamming. It was more so just, okay, bump, bump, bump. Okay, now I got in position still. You know what I'm saying? Now you still had some people that would try to spam just because it was more OP then in terms of the pickpocket and all that stuff. But still, there was degrees to it. You can tell the lock based off somebody who just became a lock and just wanted to spam, because most of the time they weren't getting good position on defense. Still, they would get aids from the badges, but still they weren't getting good position. It was more so just, I'm here. But let's move on. And to the next part of this video, he has another screenshot right here. I want to say it was 419, or is this it? Nope, this is not it. It was 419. Let me get to that. It's right here. So, and this right here talks about the way to body up animation and position, and kind of how we was talking about, and then, you know, ghost contest. On this part, he actually talks about how, you know, ghost contests are pretty much out of the game, and there is, you know, that 2K thing where you'll always get some kind of funky contest in some kind of way. So, and that's expected, but this is more for the shooters and all those people, and even for defenders too, because you can hear this and, you know, adjust your gameplay to how you need to. But basically this ain't ghost contests out the game. So as offensive players, you know that when you're open, you're legitly open. You know what I'm saying? So you're open, and you're gonna have a high chance of knocking it down. And I think we're hearing this. So me personally, I think that ghost contests, it does affect, you know, all shots in general, but also what ghost contests of affected also was shot creators. If you think, shot creating within itself has, I would say, went away. It's not really a true games or play style now. And what I mean by that, yeah, you have play shots who are fading and shooting, but you had legitly shot creating, you know, players, people who would do it within the mid range and from the 3-point line with the fading. And yeah, like I said, it's there now, but still it was a little bit fishy to do because of ghost contests. That's why the quick stop was developed, and that's why all the other moves were developed, because of ghost contests. And I think the ghost contest really got really strong in like probably 19, 20, well, probably more so 20 or so. But it's ghost contest has always been in the game, and for them to say it's, you know, out, it's not completely out, but, you know, it's kind of been, you know, nerfed a little bit and changed based off the defensive mechanics. And this goes on for him to say that, you know, with the body up animations, based off the body up animations that the defender is getting, you can kind of tell like, okay, yeah, this is definitely going to be contested. And the same thing for the defender, you can tell like, yeah, I can play good defense on this. And then he goes on to talk about strength in this too, because with strength, it's going to play a lot into your body up animation, and saying how if you're a smaller guard, it's going to be hard for you to do that, because if you're getting bodied up with no strength, you're losing your energy, you're losing adrenaline bars. So now it's going to be easy for you to get bucks, which is going to make way for, I think, like, I don't know if y'all remember, I think there might have been, I can't remember what 2K, where you had like the 6'4", 6'5" guard, 6'6", 6'4", 6'5", that was, you know, strong enough to withhold that defense, but still had that shooting, or that range is almost like a 6'1" in terms of like the shooting and the dunking capability, which is a W. Which was kind of a W for them. But basically what I'm saying is it's going to be harder for those smaller guards unless, you know, they're playing through a pick and roll. And this is what I think having a stronger defense is going to do. It's going to open up the pick and roll, which is going to create, you know, the shot creating, you know, aspect. And that's just, you know, something we're going to have to just to. I think 2K24 will be the pick and roll game. And it's kind of going back, you know, to the older 2Ks. It was always pick and roll heavy. Yeah, pick and roll is the game, you know, of basketball in general. Yeah, it was still in 23, I mean, and the ones before. But if if you've played 2K, you know what I'm saying. It was PNR, 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 PNR the whole time. PNR with a popper, PNR with a dump down big. And the way that they're talking about bigs being, you know, defensively, OP. This is just going to expand that, because now we're going down on defense, or now we're coming down to offense. Bigs were never, difficult to score within the paint because they're bigs. Most of the time, I mean, depending on if you're playing in the comp setting, the big can pretty much have their way most of the time on offense in terms of just, getting a dunk based off how the build's made. But with having everything else defensively too, the big position, the center position is going to be pretty much OP. But it's going to move on to this next phase of the video. I think that was at 8 minutes. Let me see. Double check. I got it in my notes. Give me a second. It was at 7:36, which is the same. It's the same thing right here. And it goes with Wolf. He was talking about how defense is more responsive, less slidey, and, right stick steals. So this, double reiterating on what we got and what we see as far as with everything Uncle Demi said, everything Mike Wang has been saying, everything we've been saying in the community, man. So you got the spammers that's kind of being, deranked or nerfed. You got guards who like to go left, right. And I don't think left, right is going to be out the game personally, because they're going to go left, right to try to avoid body ups. But what we as defenders, or, whoever is going to be the defender, you have a better chance with them saying controls are more responsive and less slidey. You have a chance of actually getting there. But I think that's just going to make way for a quicker left, right, instead of like a right, go right, left. And then, you know what I'm saying? It could be more realistic in terms of that. But I think that it's still going to be obviously difficult based off, the defender. If the defender's been playing a lot of 2K and he knows the moves or the dribble moves based off what you're doing, you're pretty much in trouble, man. I'm just going to be honest with you. So, how do y'all feel about that? How do y'all feel about the new buff on defense? The same thing that we've heard with paint defense. Uncle Demi kind of hinted on it. He said himself, and we saw also within the video and within the post that, paint defense has got a big buff. So rim running can be difficult, but I must say this. Paint defense may have gotten a buff, but to what aspect? And I think for some, you can understand what I'm saying when I say this, to what aspect, because there's a difference when you are in the paint and you're rotating and say Giant Slayer, Slithery, all that kicks in. Now, what we had in 2K23, even with me having Hall of Fame anchor or whatever, they were still getting, it was pretty much giving me an animation to where I couldn't get to the offensive player. And if I did jump, it was a jump animation to where like you knew Slithery and Giant Slayer kicked in, if you get what I'm saying. So, and that would still be on good timing, honestly and truly. But basically what I'm saying is, y'all say the paint defense has gotten better. What aspect of it? Is it just me already being dead legged in the paint and they're trying to drive into me and throw something up? Because if that's the case, then I would expect that to be better. But if it's still like, okay, he's making a move, boom, boom, I step into the paint, kind of like I'm rotating over, and I still time my jump correctly. But if I'm getting a jump animation that's still more geared to his Giant Slayer and Slithery, then what? So it still could almost feel the same, if you get what I'm saying. I think from what I'm hearing, paint defense, with it being more OP, maybe that is fixed, but maybe it's just to the fact of, the centers who catch the ball down in the paint, pump fake, wait for you to jump and then dunk, or, just pretty much the mashing aspect of the game, if you get what I'm saying, not necessarily the driving aspect. Now, I understand you still may have or want, people to drive and dunk. I get it. But if I rotate on time, do everything on time, we both should still be rewarded based off whether it be with the badges, the attribute, whatever. Because in the end, he didn't do anything wrong, but I did the right thing as far as rotating on time, getting there for the block, if you get what I'm saying. So, we'll move on. We'll see when the game drops. I'm excited for 2K24, man. I must say, I really am. I hope y'all are excited too. And if y'all have any feedback or anything, just let me know. And yeah, let's get ready for 2K24, man. It's your boy CJ. It's your boy Untamed. Peace.
Let's go. If you like it.